Hi everyone, welcome back to Mama's Orchids and Backyard. We're going to do what's in bloom today, so stick around. Well, I was finally able to fertilize the orchids this morning after a month of no fertilizing because I did not want to contribute to adding more watering since the orchids needed more time to dry out between all the rain. I didn't think they needed feeding desperately. The roots have really taken off and most of the new growth looks good. So, for example, check out these Vandas. See how the roots are so thick? And this particular one, the roots were originally really skinny when I first got it this spring, and now it's super thick. I think it's almost always a good idea to leave the Vandas out in the rain. Haven't had it rot on me yet in the rain, but I've had it rot in the shower once. This first orchid in bloom is actually a bloom from last week, and I needed though to give you the correct name of this one because I had the wrong name the first time I posted it. And it's funny because I learned even more now that you just can't Google a picture based on the color of orchid and expect to know the name. There's just too many hybrids out there. So now I'm certain what this orchid is because I found the tag on another orchid from Williams' collection. And the correct name is Dora, Louise, Capen variety Leah, and these are pictures of it as the colors are fading away. Okay, the next orchid in bloom is a Catasetum Frilly Doris times spitzii, and it's in bloom a little earlier this year, maybe by about a month. And actually, it tried to bloom 2 other times, but the buds had gotten eaten by something. When I saw that it put out a 3rd spike, and so I quickly brought it back into the kitchen to keep an eye on it, and I'm so glad I did because the blooms are magnificent. Now this is the male version, not the female version, and it is naturally this green, so don't let the color fool you to thinking that it's the female. The female one is more of a cap, and this one is more opened up. The throat is really thick texture, and the sepal and the petals are thinner. And I've never gotten this to last more than 2 weeks though. And this time I do detect a slight fragrance. It's a floral scent, nothing very distinct. The newest pseudobulb has gotten larger than previous years as expected. It still has more time to grow and get bigger though, as we still have 2 more months of growth season left. Something different with this orchid, more different compared to the FDK Catasetum that I grow, is that this one will bloom, then it will continue to grow for a couple of months, and it doesn't drop its leaf yet and go into dormancy until late into the winter. But for me, the FDK, after it blooms, it will drop its leaves and then go into dormancy. The FDK Catasetum will start budding around Halloween time or even right before it, and then it'll bloom sometime in November, and then it will last also just a couple of weeks as well. This next one is also from Williams' collection, the collection that I acquired back in April, and it's blooming right now. And it's amazingly fragrant. Here is the first day of blooming, and it didn't have the correct tag, so here's the tag that I thought that was supposed to be with it. And it says BLC Dora Louise Cattleya, which was actually goes with the yellow orchid that I showed you on the first orchid that is in bloom. And as you can see, this one is actually white reception, and I found the tag on another orchid on a smaller white reception that William had. So we have 2 white receptions from William. And here is the second day that it's blooming, and I noticed that it gets whiter as it ages. And it's so fragrant. Did I tell you it's very fragrant? It is very, very fragrant. I love it. And I'm so glad that I love this orchid because it turns out that I have a third one. And I believe that it also came from Carmela. I think that that's where William got his too. Mine was in bud about the same time. It would be a first time blooming for me, except a snail got a hold of it, of the delicious bud, and ate it. There were 2 buds, and I had it underneath the new oak tree by the pond, so the snails were able to reach it easily. Now I've moved it to underneath this pergola. And so far, both orchids seem very easy to bloom, and they bloom very reliably and consistently, I'm guessing. Time will tell for sure, though. This next one is a Vanda Kuwaldee fragrance, and it is a light fuchsia in blue and has a white background, and it's my favorite Vanda. I have 2 of these that came together as a bag baby, but they never bloomed together at the same time, odd enough. One would bloom in the late fall and one would bloom in the spring, and it seems that the abundance of rain more than the temperature change that is what triggered the bloom for this one. And we have 2 or 3 weeks of very consistent rain almost every day. All right, now for the dendrobium blooming season. Right around this time of year is the dendrobium season for me, just right after the rain has slowed down. And I love growing this dendrobium because my weather is just perfect for most of them. Remember that I'm in Zone 9, Texas Gulf Coast area. Here is a brightly deep pink one called Dendrobium Daeng 280, and I have a 2-week shot of this one. One is from a previous week where the buds are starting to open, and then I moved it to the pergola area to prevent the rain from getting too much more on it. And now is the 2nd week of it opening, and it is in the same pot with Dendrobium Pegasus pink, a very soft and lovely muted color. And I have a 3rd one in the pot, and they are in spikes, so more to come. This next one is Dendrobium Sweet Pink, and this is in a pot that has many dendrobiums in it, all from William's collection, so all rescue orchids. And they are really gaining back good health and rewarding me with all these spikes right here. Let's look and see what will be blooming soon. I believe some of the tags on here will tell us. I know that Dendrobium Popeye was one of them, and Emma White Mutation was one. There we go. Now let's head on over to the pergola again. Here is Dendrobium Firewings, which is a cross from Big Alex and Silver Wings, and it's blooming for the 4th time, or is it the 5th time this year? I can't remember anymore. As I always mentioned before, this bloom also is a very long lasting, and it's been the same 2 canes that bloom repeatedly. They have to be old enough to do that, so if you can keep the new growth for a 2nd year, it'll be more promising. The new growth tend to trap water in its conical structure of leaves. The enclosure tends to trap water, so you have to be really careful when you water the new growth. Okay, let's head over to the outdoor shower. There is a small rescue dendrobium spiked in there, and this is Dendrobium Enobi Splash, and it's from William's collection. Yes, I am starting to merge the collection as I see no signs of spider mites or scale. And now we are saving the best for last. Let's go into the kitchen. So if I have to choose just one type of orchid to grow, I think that I would go with the mini dendrobiums. It's just so easy to grow and the blooms last so long, and not to mention that it takes less space compared to even the mini phals. It's harder to accidentally kill this dendrobiums than the mini phals too, and it propagates itself so easily. I'm always getting kekis from him. Very lovely bouquet of flowers. I love these. If only somehow we can add fragrance to it, that makes it more perfect. Okay, well, that's all I have for what's in bloom. I think we missed a couple of spikes here and there, but we'll get it next time. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.